to another episode of a leadership lesson in about 5 minutes. My name is June with the Legendary Leadership Academy. I am your leadership and life purpose coach. So today's topic is on how to use the 4 C's to hire and find the right people for your company. I had an opportunity to write a blog about this maybe a few weeks ago, but I decided let me do a training video so that I can further elaborate and help you understand how to find the right people for your company using the 4 C's. So, we are witnessing a trend in the number of people who are leaving companies. They're leaving for various reasons. For some of them, it's for opportunities for growth. Maybe it's a work-life balance. Maybe it's remote working or just to try entrepreneurship. Whatever the reason is, we are finding that it's placing a hardship on you, the leaders, as far as finding their replacement and making sure that that person is a good fit and stays. So we're also seeing, though, because of this mass resignation that's still happening, a lot of employers are rushing and they're hasty to find a good fit for their company. And sometimes they end up hiring the first person that shows that they have some skill set, and the rotation, the revolving door only continues. So here are 4 C's that I want to share with you on how to hire the best people for your job when interviewing. Look for these 4 C's, and I guarantee you that after doing your due diligence, that you will have been able to find the right person to provide some type of longevity and consistency to your organization. So, let's get started. C number 1. C number 1 is character. And character is simply the way that a person behaves. It's their natural disposition. It's the way that they feel, they think, they react. And so therefore, as far as finding out what is a person's character like, the best way is to pay attention to their responses during the interview. Listen to how they respond to certain questions. Also take into account your responsibility to do background checks on them. Some company also do integrity tests. That tells something about a person's character as well. Another way is social media. If an applicant's account isn't private, you can always look on there, look at the public posting, and see what it tells about their character. Because sometimes, more than likely, they'll be posting, things that are important to them. They'll share some of their values on certain topics, and you get to see what their character is like and if it's a good fit for your company. The thing is, if you hire a person with a dubious character, it can sometimes hurt your team, because there is a biblical scripture that says that bad company corrupts good character. So you don't want them to bleed onto your team or create a toxic environment where good team members tend to leave. So character. Number 2 is calling. And calling, that's something that I'm real passionate about. That's something that's important to me. Because I find myself being more vested, being more passionate, showing more energy when I'm doing something that's related or aligned with my calling. So how do you find out about an applicant's calling? Usually look at their work experience on their resume. What have they been doing for the past few years? And then question them about it. How did they feel about that type of work? If it's something that they enjoy doing, they'll share those specific examples of how they enjoy that job. If it's something that they don't like doing, that'll also come out in the interview as well. So another way is just to ask straightforward questions. What do you think about this type of work? Or why do you want to do this type of work? And listen to what it is that they're going to say. Another way to find out about a person's calling is volunteer experiences. People will give freely of their talents when it's something that means something to them, when it's something that's important to them, when it's an opportunity to help others. So look at where they've volunteered before, if they have volunteered before. So that's another way to find out about a person's calling. Number 3, C number 3 is competence. Well, most employers, that's the first thing that they look for when they're looking for applicant, when they're looking for someone to hire for a specific position. They always look for their competence. Can you do the job? That's all competencies. Are they do they have the ability to do the specific task? While competent is very important, it should not be the only thing that employers should look for. And I believe that even the Bible talks about the importance of a person's competence, because it says your talents will bring you before kings. And so if a person can do the job and do it well, not only will they be recognized, but they'll also be elevated. So competence is very important, but I don't want employers to use it as the sole reason for bringing someone on board, because if they don't have the character, if it's not in their calling, then the longevity of staying with the company, it'll be very short-lived. Then number four is chemistry. And chemistry is how well does that person gel with you and with your team and with the organization. The organization should have a certain culture, and you want to make sure that that person fits well into that culture. So therefore, when you look at chemistry, that's going to come out, of course, in that person's disposition and how they answer questions. But also another way to find out if the chemistry is a good fit for your company and for your team especially is allow them to meet your team and have the team be part of the interview process. Maybe you will be the first person to interview, and then the team can interview them as the second part of the interview process, and allow your team to share feedback on that encounter. One of the best interviews that I was able to be a part of, and I have actually adapted that style since, is when I interviewed for an executive director position for a nonprofit company. After the vice president interviewed me, she took me into a room where there's a group of people, and she said, "This is my team. I want you to spend some time with them and ask them whatever you want." And then she left. So the team was able to ask me questions and see how I gel and interacted with them, but I was also able to ask them questions, not just about the organization, but about, my prospective boss, and just about them as a team as well. Interviews should be mutually beneficial. It should not just be you as the leader asking all the questions, but allow your employee or prospective employee to make sure that they too are a good fit for the position. Okay, so now those are my 4 C's that I feel will not guarantee that a person stays on forever and ever and ever until their retirement, but it will demonstrate that you've done due diligence in finding the right fit for your company, finding a suitable match, and it will help with retention as far as making employees stay longer because you have done due diligence with them. Again, those 4 C's are character, calling, competence, and chemistry. That's my leadership tip for you for today. June with the Legendary Leadership Academy. And until next time, great leaders create new leaders.